everyone, I'm Melissa McAllister, and you're listening to the Melissa M.A.D.E Show. Now, for decades, I've dedicated myself to helping women break the cycle of dieting, navigate through all the fads, and change their lives through my nutrition coaching. Now, each week, I'm going to talk about everything from deep nutrition, mindset, self-care, the ideal workout routine, tips on how and why to implement intermittent fasting in your life, my favorite recipes that are not only crowd pleasers, but they're actually healthy for you, and so much more. Now, with small and consistent changes, you can defy aging while living a happier, healthier, and more heart-filled life. I'm so excited to show you it's possible with the right strategies that are so simple to adopt. Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Melissa M.A.D.E Show. So today I really want to just give you, I always say this, but I promise this time it's going to be a quick one. I always want my interviews are always long because I have the most interesting and the best guests on my podcast. And they always go longer than I want them to. So I always try to make these solo podcasts just like really short and quick. And then I get on my soapbox. But I'm going to try really hard to make this one short. And today I want to talk to you about how to lose weight without kind of just being obsessive about the calorie counting. Because listen to me. Now, I would rather you have 10 pounds on you and be eating a very healthy diet than to be 10 pounds lighter and not eating a healthy diet. You're healthier with the 10 pounds on you eating the healthy foods than you are being 10 pounds lighter and eating foods that are, more refined, processed, and ultra processed. So listen to me. If, you have to decide between being a little bit heavier, but you just eating lots and lots of healthy food versus being skinny and, eating what you think are diet foods and stuff like that in order to get there. Number one, it's not true. But number two, keep the 10 pounds on you. I know Mick honestly likes 10 pounds on me more than he likes 10 pounds off me. He doesn't like me bony. He likes me a little bit of meat. So what I really want to talk to you about is there are things that you can do outside of counting the calories, but keep in mind calories do matter to some extent. For me, they're not the most important thing when I work with a client. They're not the most important thing I'm going to talk to you about is how many calories are you eating? I want to know what kind of food you're eating. But at the same time, if you've got weight to lose, you can't eat all the food that you want, even if it's super healthy, and expect to lose weight. There has to be some sort of an energy balance there. But at the same time, I don't think that you need to just obsess about counting every single calorie that goes in your mouth or how much you work out in order to have that balance. I think there's just some things that you could do and not even calorie count in order to lose some weight. So we're just going to go through a few of them really fast. I don't want to give you too many because then that's overwhelming, but let's just talk about a few of them. And the first one is instead of thinking about what you have to take out or what you're being restricted of, I want you to think about all the great things that you get to add. So say, for instance, I'm going to tell you a trick. Kelly knows very well because I do this with Kelly all the time, is every once in a blue moon, remember I'm in Texas, I will have a hankering for like a pumpkin spice latte. And so I will go to the local Circle K or to the local convenience store where they have the big machines with the black coffee and then the machines with a vanilla latte and a, mocha something or another. And in season, they'll have the pumpkin spice. And I will grab a small or a medium cup. Listen, nobody needs large. Nobody needs large anything. If you're sharing, cool. But if it's just you, I don't care if it's 25 cents more, and that's it. Nobody needs large. Get yourself a small or a medium cup and then put it under the black coffee and fill the cup up halfway, at least halfway with black coffee, and then go over and fill the rest of it up with the pumpkin spice or the vanilla latte. Listen to me, you will love it. It is delicious. It actually, all it does is it cuts the sweetness down just a little bit. But think about it. You're cutting the sugar in half. You're cutting the calories in half, at least in half. Sometimes you can get away with putting 2/3 black coffee in that cup and a third of the, I'm saying coffee. Is there even coffee in there? I think it's sugar and cream and flavoring and maybe like a couple drops of coffee. That stuff is really not coffee. I bet you could even ask Starbucks to do that for you. If you have a favorite kind of drink and you want to cut it, then think about asking them, saying, can you put half black coffee in there and then make the rest, so you could get a large and tell them to put half black and then make you a small, and then just to take whatever it takes to finish up that cup to make yourself your favorite drink that is just cut in half. Okay, so that's just one of the things. You get to add black coffee to your favorite fancy high calorie, high sugar drink instead of taking away and not having it whatsoever, but still try to make it a treat, not something that you have every day. Or think about if you're making, let's say, for instance, you're making spaghetti. So you're thinking of high satiety foods, foods that have volume and fill you up. So in order to have a plate of spaghetti, think about the sauce. You want to have like some ground turkey or some ground beef in it because that protein is going to help fill you up. But I also want you to chop up or mince a lot of vegetables and hide it in the sauce. Number one, it's going to take up a lot of space. It's going to fill you because it's going to make your belly feel full. You're getting all of this nutrition in the sauce. You're getting the protein from the ground turkey or the ground beef. And then you can even take the noodles. You love noodles. I'm not going to tell you not to eat them, but you can even mix them with zucchini noodles. Or this is weird. I know this is weird, but was a favorite of mine when I was pregnant and I never stopped eating it. But I would take like the French green beans, heat them up, and I would put spaghetti sauce on top. Just saying it, I know it sounds weird. Spaghetti sauce on top of the French green beans, and it was delicious. To me, it was just as good as regular pasta. So maybe you could try that or mix it and see if it's something that you could do. So you're going to, instead of take anything away, you're going to add vegetables to these kind of foods. You could also do it with soup, right? Soup. You could have lots of vegetables added to your soup. Make sure you put some meat in there and stuff as well to add things to these foods that are going to give you volume and going to give you more high satiety foods than, or satiety, yin and yang, right? Whatever makes you feel fuller is just a great way. So in your mind, I want you to think I'm adding things instead of I'm having to give up or take away, because you can easily still have the things that you love, but just be adding some things. Add the black coffee, add a little bit more water to something, add vegetables to something, add a little bit more, lower fat protein to something, and make sure you got your healthy fat in there. But if you're going to add a lot of protein, go for the leaner cuts of meat, because, that will make something very calorie dense if it has a lot of fat and a lot of protein. So the protein should be in there, whether it's a pat of butter or you have a little bit of dark meat and white chicken meat, perfect. But you don't want all dark meat, if you know what I mean. Okay, the second thing is so there's two types of people, right? And I would love to know which one you are in the show notes. Are you a really fast eater or are you a very slow eater? So again, like if I ever sit down and eat with Kelly or Cynthia, they're very, very slow eaters. I inhale my food. I don't know why. Well, I do know why. Actually, I believe it's because for me, I've always told myself and I've trained myself to think of food as fuel. Okay. It's really for me not a sense of enjoyment. I don't sit and savor something so much. I want to eat it. I want to fuel my body and I want to get on with life. So I eat very quickly. I really should slow down, but I do eat quickly. And if that's you and I are in the same boat. Or you could be the kind of person that eats very slowly, which is fantastic. But I want you to think about whether you're a quick eater or a slow eater. Now, if you're a quick eater, what you need to do is to promise yourself that you will wait 20 minutes before you get anything else, because you ate so fast that your brain does not have enough time to hear the signal from your stomach that, whoa, you're full. You ate enough. You have to give yourself a little bit of time. So knowing that you're a quick eater, you've got to slow down. And I promise you that one meal will be plenty for you and you'll be very satiated, not overstuffed, by slowing down. If you happen to be a slow eater, then while you're eating, you need to think about the cues of being satisfied, not stuffed, satisfied, and also being okay with not finishing your plate. Were you raised to finish your plate? That's a very hard thing to break. But you could even make a little pact with yourself that you leave a bite of everything on your plate to help break that pattern for you. You could leave, a spoonful of rice. You could leave, a little piece of chicken and stuff on your plate to just break that crazy notion that you have to finish everything on your plate. So if you're a slow eater, just as you're eating, think about the cues, because you may just not even think about it. And again, finish your plate, or you might eat really fast. And of course, then you're probably going to finish whatever you have and feel like you're still hungry, even though you probably aren't. You just got to give your stomach enough time to go, oh, brain, pay attention. I'm full, no more. So that's number 2. 8-hour abs. That sounds like a dream, right? What if I told you you could work on those abs while you dream? It's not too good to be true, I promise. It's something I discovered almost accidentally that gives you incredible results with minimal effort. The idea behind this is actually in what you're not doing. By giving your digestion time to rest, you allow your body to tap into its fat stores, hence working on that six-pack while you sleep. All you have to do is eat within an 8-hour window and leave the rest up to your body. I wrote the 8-hour abs diet back in 2014 to help people learn about the importance of meal timing. Intermittent fasting has been a huge part in helping me stay in the shape that I am. For me, intermittent fasting means eating in an 8-hour window, and I'll give you my insight on it in this free ebook. With proper meal timing, you will not only look better, but you're going to feel better too. So learn more by visiting melissamadeonline.com/ebooks and get your free copy of the 8-hour abs diet today. Number 3 is overprocessed foods. Highly processed foods were made to be addictive. And so for most people, while you're trying to lose weight, it is really difficult to just have a handful of chips. Okay. For the majority of people. Now, yeah, there are those anomalies out there that can just grab a handful of chips and be like, no, I'm fine, that's good. Throat punch those people. I'm just kidding. I would totally be blocked, or I would get in trouble with Instagram for saying that. You just can't have any humor on Instagram. But I want you to understand that those ultra processed foods there are mad scientists back there doing everything they can to make you want to have that second, third, fourth, and fifth handful of chips. So the less that you have that, the less that you are going to feel hungry, because if you feed yourself with good, solid, whole food, and there's going to be a withdrawal period, be aware of that. But if you just know that these ultra processed foods are designed to make you feel actually hungrier once you start eating them, there's no satiety, there's no satiation going on whatsoever with those foods. They will make you hungrier. You might decide it's not worth it. You know, I'm on this journey, I've got goals, and I know this is going to mess with my mind. And so I'm better off not having any of that until I can learn to slowly put it into my ritual, into the way that I eat without overdoing it. If that ever happens, I mean, every once in a while we have the wonderful YOLO meal, if you'll call it, or off-plan meal, and yeah, you eat a bag of chips, cool. But to try to fit them into a daily lifestyle when you're trying really hard to not overeat, this is very, very difficult. And it's okay for you to go ahead and say, for now, they're just not something I'm going to have in my diet. I'm going to go ahead and wait, or be okay with the fact that I'm going to eat healthy foods, and I'm going to feel and I'm going to look great, and I don't need that. Okay. Next one, mindset. I want you to really have a conversation with yourself in your head. I want you to be like, mind, you're telling me I'm hungry, but I just ate 2 hours ago. Physically, if you had a meal, there is no way that you are genuinely hungry. There's just no way, unless you had a handful or a bag of chips. You were probably hungry 20 minutes later. Let's just be honest. But if you had like I just finished a salmon salad, that should satiate me for a long time, 4+ hours. But if you're feeling hungry after 2 hours, it could be the Pavlovian response, which is habit, right? So if you ate breakfast at 10 o'clock, for instance, but normally you eat it at 8 and then you eat again at noon, guess what? You eat a big omelet at 10 o'clock, but at noon you're like, why am I hungry? I just had this huge breakfast. It's just habit. It's habit. Your brain actually loves habit, but sometimes it kind of nips us in the bud because it creates these habits of feeling hungry when you're really not. So have a conversation with yourself and say, okay, Melissa, I know you feel hungry right now. Have a nice big glass of water. You're really not. You can pull through this and learn the difference between that emotional hunger and physical hunger, and know that if you fed yourself something very healthy, you're genuinely not hungry and you're strong and you can push through it until that hunger will come, which could be another 2 hours down the road or even 4 hours, depending on what you ate. But keep in mind, it takes we're talking 6 hours bare minimum. If it's something very easily digestible, up to 12 hours for food to go from your mouth to the exit. 12 up to 12 hours. So your body is never like, oh, I have no food in my system. Rarely. So it's just a matter of working on that mindset and knowing that you're really probably truly not hungry, and working through that and getting strong, knowing that you have nourished your body and it doesn't need anything at the moment. And then the last thing I just want to mention, which is obvious, is the sleep, stress, and hydration. So you have heard me say it, probably some of your favorite researchers and nurses and doctors and nutritionists talking about sleep and how it's scientifically backed that if you lack sleep, your hunger will accelerate dramatically and your fat burning ability will decelerate dramatically. So you have to prioritize sleep in order to lose weight without obsessively counting those calories. And then also stress. Now listen to me, there's stress in your life that doesn't need to be there, and you can take care of that. There's also stress in your life that you have no control over and you can't take care of it. So what you need to do is you need to learn to be able to handle that stress better. Could be a person, could be traffic, could be a post that you saw. Like for me, I get incredibly stressed and you don't know what's coming. I can't control it. I can't stop it. If I see an animal being hurt or mistreated, even if, if the post there's a good outcome, it just kills me and it stresses me out. I can just feel my heart race and my cortisol rise. I can't control that, but I can try to control how I feel about that and take a deep breath and tell myself, you know what, I do my part. This, in the long run, this horse was taken care of, and talk myself through instead of seeing it and allowing that stress to go. If you have a boss at work that you're just not really fond of, as soon as you quit talking with them, take a couple of deep breaths, walk in a few circles and put your arms over your head, do whatever it takes for you to feel calm again, and really work on either reducing the stress in your life or coping with the stress that you can't reduce. Again, that is huge for weight loss. And if you're being very good with your diet and yet you're still not sleeping well and stressing, it's going to be such a challenge for you to get it off. And it's going to be a challenge for you not to reach for the bag of chips that's calling your name because it's comfort food. And then last but not least, the hydration. Again, your body needs water in order to be a fat burning machine, to let go of the fat calories. And if you're not hydrating yourself well, it won't happen. So, and not only that, but water truly will. If you're not hungry, water with a squeeze of lemon in it, or some cucumber, or some lime, or some mint, truly, if you're not hungry and you drink that and just wait a second, you'll be like, oh, okay, I'm not so hungry anymore. So it works for that, but it also works really well for keeping your body energized, feeling like it's fed because you're hydrated. Your body will tell you lots of crazy things when you're dehydrated. And don't be afraid to put a little pinch of pink Himalayan sea salt in it, or if you take electrolytes of any sort, that helps as well, because that helps the hydration. So if you drink a ton of water, but yet you still always feel dehydrated, add a little bit of pink Himalayan sea salt or some of these electrolytes, and you should feel a little more hydrated. You don't have to overdo it, and not everybody needs it, but that little pinch of salt is free, and it should help you get the water inside the cells, which is where you want it, not outside the cells. So to sum it up, I want you to think about all the things that you can add to your diet. Add more tea, regular tea, add more black coffee, put a little bit more water in it in order to any kind of beverage, especially in these colder months coming. Add lots of vegetables or lean proteins. Have protein with every single meal that you have. Okay, that's so important. I won't go into that right now, but protein, and preferably the protein first. And get that protein in there, add the vegetables, hide it, use vegetables to mix with your starches and to make sauces more voluminous, have more volume. I just think of hair when I hear voluminous. And then also think about those ultra processed foods, just cut them out, because you and I both know that if, your kids are sitting on the couch eating a bag of Doritos and you reach over to grab a little handful, 90% of us are just going to obsess about wanting another handful and another handful and another handful. And that's a worse place to be than to start off just looking at it and going, oh, those taste great, but you know what? Don't eat them, don't want them, and moving on, right? Oh, I missed one. I actually want you to consider having a savory breakfast. Now, having a savory breakfast versus something that's not tends to make you less hungry throughout the day. So again, let's go back to that omelet. Having an omelet with some spinach in it, and you have some vegetables and maybe some diced ham or something in it, is something that's going to keep you so satiated for so long in the morning versus having oatmeal by itself. Now, I'm not anti-oatmeal, but by itself, it's not going to be very satiating. It's going to make you hungry pretty quickly because it digests very quickly. There's no protein in it unless you add protein to it, then that's a whole different story. But if you just have pancakes, waffles, or muffins, or just oatmeal by itself, or low-fat yogurt, there's still a little protein in there. Not so bad, but I like full-fat yogurt. That's going to keep you fuller during the day. So how you start your day is also a very important way for how you're going to feel in your satiation and needing more calories or not needing more calories by giving yourself plenty of healthy fats, plenty of proteins. And of course, you can have a little bit of carbohydrates in there as well, but very savory. Don't think sweet. That'll just trigger you for the rest of the day to want sweet stuff. Think savory foods. Have that talk with yourself, that little mindset talk. If you find yourself, and it might be a habit that you need to break, but you can break it to where you feel like, hey, I am not hungry. And then last but not least, sleep, stress, and hydration are very, very important. Okay. So make sure you take care of those. As always, I hope that you woke up today feeling prepared, and I want you to go to bed feeling extremely proud of yourself because you deserve that. Have a great day. Wow, we've reached the end. But before I leave you, I'd love to hear from you. After all, it's not every day that someone reaches out and asks for your opinion. And to me, your opinion does matter. So please share this episode with anyone that you think needs to hear this message. And remember to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. My name is Melissa McAllister. And until next time, thank you for being your own health advocate.